आत्मा आत्मीयैः स्मृति इच्छा प्रयत्नैः कर्म हेतुभिः स्वयं व्यापारवानेव. Atma, when Siddhanti told, Atma is not active. Active means Atma doesn't have the action of its own. Means Atma is Nirvikara. Atma is Nirvikara. Nirvikara because it is a Nirakara. It is partless. Therefore, it cannot be connected with anything else. Asanga. So, Siddhanti told, your example of a mat maker. Mat maker using straw and other things to make a mat, just as he uses the straw to make a mat, mat maker uses the straw to make the mat. Similarly, Atma uses the body to carry on the activities. Why not we say that? This is what Purvapakshi's idea. Siddhanti told it can't. Because the very illustration, the very drishtanta is dissimilar. Because in case of the mat maker, he is an individual having a form of his own. He himself is active. Active means he is a karta, undergoing change. He himself is moving his hands and legs and all. That means he himself is a karta. He himself is a karta. And such a karta, having a parts of the body, he can wield the grass. He can wield the grass, a particular special grass to make the mat. So he can wield the grass and make the mat. But unlike the example which you have given, Atma doesn't have the body and the parts of the body. Atma doesn't have the parts of the body. Atma itself is not active. Active means changing, moving, changing. Atma itself is Nirvikara, as the pure consciousness is Nirvikara, doesn't move, doesn't act. Therefore, even to use the straw, two levels it is. You pick up the straw and start using the straw, or doing some functioning with the straw. Now, before you carry out some function, with the straw, the mat maker himself moves. See, two-level function. One is functioning with the help of the straw. But even to function, even to act with the help of the straw, before start using the straw, there should be some movement on the part of the maker. Because the maker has got a desire, smriti ichha prayatna. He has got a memory, he recalls his past knowledge and he entertains a wish first. Past knowledge, wish and will. Three things. This we have discussed elaborately. Past your experience, we call it experience. The same thing here we are calling memory. Past experience or past knowledge or past memory, they are just one. For our purpose, there may be a subtle difference, but for our purpose, the past experience or past knowledge or past memory, all that means the same. So the past knowledge gives rise to a wish in you. I gave this example in our previous class, that unless you have some knowledge of it, no wish arises on your part to do something. Okay? No wish arises on your part to do something. See, when you look at something, a tree, if he is an Ayurvedic doctor, as he looks at the plant, oh, this is useful, immediately goes there and tries to use it. But a person who doesn't have any knowledge of Ayurveda, when he looks at the plant, he says it is a green plant and goes away. Means no thought arises in him that, oh, how useful it is, let me use it. See, the thought of a wish arises only when you are aware of its utility. Okay? Only when you are aware of its utility. Or aware of means if you have a past knowledge, past experience, some knowledge or experience, only a person who has a background, who has a knowledge or experience of it, in such a person a wish arises as soon as you look at it. See, even for the wish to arise, you require a knowledge behind. Okay. If you don't have a knowledge, as you look at it, your mind remains blank because you are seeing it for the first time. So the previous knowledge forms the basis for a wish to arise. And the wish becomes a will. Wish means a simple desire. Will is an active thought. Active thought means the will is one which pushes you to act. Means the very pushing is act. The pushing is will. Wish is only simply a knowledge. Oh, I wish I had it. It's a simple desire. When the desire becomes active, you call it will. Okay, first knowledge. Janati ichchati karoti. In Nyaya Shastra they say, Janati ichchati karoti. First you know, and the knowledge gives rise to ichcha, desire, and the desire gives rise to an activity, a movement, a will. Therefore, your example, now Siddhanti says, your example doesn't suit here. Because the person, here in the example, the mat maker himself is a human being, has got his own body, and he has got all samskara, the thought and etc. So before he goes to use it, before you hold the pen and start writing, let us take the pen only. As you look at the pen, if you are an educated man, you immediately feel that, oh, how nice it is, I can write it. You take out and try to write it. An illiterate person who doesn't know, who never used the pen, never held the pen, I think many of you might have not seen in villages, we have seen many people never know how to use the pen. So as soon when he looks at the pen, no feeling arises because it is useful for writing. This thought he doesn't have. Therefore, he looks at it and he just leaves it. That's all. But whereas if you are educated and you know this thing, as soon as you look at the pen, immediately, oh, let me write. Oh, can I write it? I can write with it. So a wish arises. As soon as the wish arises, the will starts. Your hand goes there, holds it, picks it up. So before you start using the pen, even before you starting using the pen, using the pen is karma. Even before that kriya, some more kriya happens. What is that? On your part. You think and you desire, will and go reach there and hold it and pick it up. Then open it. After opening, then you start using it. Okay, start using it. So before you start using also there was a function. The function happened without the pen. So function is at two level. You hold the pen and use the and function. Hold the pen and function. Before you hold the pen also there is some movement within you. Okay. Therefore, in case of the mat maker, before he uses the straw, before he holds the straw, until that time there was a movement on his part. He comes here, looks at it, goes near, reaches it, holds it, then starts using. After once he holds the straw, the movement, the functioning with the straw starts. But here in Atma, Purvapakshi says that similarly, before you use the body, Siddhanti told only with the body alone is functioning possible. Functioning or Vyavahara is possible only with the body. Only with the body, functioning or Vyavahara or using it possible. In the absence of the body, or before you identify with the body, no movement, no functioning. Purvapakshi told, even before you identify with the body, there is function on your part. How? He gives only an illustration. Even before you start using the pen, there is a movement on your part, like you entertain a thought, wish, and then will, your hand raise. You raise the hand and go there, reach it, hold the pen, and once you hold the pen, the functioning with the pen starts. Okay? The functioning with the pen starts. Even before you hold the pen and start using it, even before that, there is some part of action on your part. Some portion, some action on your part. Similarly, before Atma uses the body, even before using the body, there is some element of function, some part of function carried out by you on your part. Vedanta says, no, this is wrong, you have misunderstood. Why? Because the thought, first knowledge, the wish, and the will, even these things do not belong to Atma. They belong to body, mind alone. Atma is totally free from knowledge, wish, and will. Atma is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is not a given experience or a given knowledge. It is not a given knowledge. Atma has no will. Atma has no wish. Atma has no a given knowledge, wish, and will. No. Atma doesn't have means. Atma by its nature transcends it. Only under Adhyasa it comes to have knowledge of a given object, and its knowledge means its experience of a given object, then the will and the wish. Okay, the will and the wish, all these things do not belong to the Atma. This is Siddhanti's answer. See, Atma Atmiyai. Purvapakshi told Atma too has some function on its part even before it uses the body. Even before it uses the body, there is some function on the part of the Atma. After carrying out that function, it comes to the body and you holds the body. Then the function with the body starts. He says the function is of the two level. One is while using the body, another is before you use the body. Two levels of function. Therefore, Purvapakshi concludes there is a function on the part of the Atma too. Siddhanti says you have badly misunderstood. You have badly misunderstood because Atma has no function, no movement in its real nature. Whatever function you see, even that is due to Adhyasa. Whatever movement, like you are recalling the knowledge and wishing and willing, even that is only due to Adhyasa. Atma is Sarva Vyapaka, like the space. Space doesn't have any movement. Space doesn't have any movement. Only, see, a Ghatakasha can move from one place to another place. A part space can move from here to other. Can you move the space? But in fact, part space, people think that part space can be moved from here to another place. But Akasha as a whole, all pervasive Akasha cannot be moved. No movement is possible on the part of total Akasha. But Ghatakasha can move. Here again there is a slight mistake. You watch. No movement on the part of Ghatakasha either, because it is the part that moves, not the Akasha. Ghatakasha, you mean Ghatakasha moves? You watch. You observe again, once again. Does Ghatakasha move or Ghata move? Does pot move or pot space move? Who moves? What moves? Watch it. Ghatakasha doesn't move because Ghatakasha is not an Akasha separate from the original Akasha. Ghatakasha is not something, an independent and separate, not something, a separate entity other than the Akasha. It is the same Akasha. You take a pot space. Take, for example, pot space in the room and you move it. Watch while moving. In the room from here to there and there and there, keep on holding the pot, you move in the room. What happened? Do you say pot space is moving? That is a childish understanding. See, does pot space move? What does move? What does move here? Does the pot space move? Does Ghatakasha move? No. The Akasha which obtains within the pot remains the same. Akasha doesn't move. It is the pot that moves. But we by mistake think that Akasha, that part of Akasha which has entered the space, which has entered the pot, okay, that portion, that small part of Akasha which has entered the pot, that is moving in the room. See, this is a severe Adhyasa. This is a misunderstanding. Pot space doesn't move because the pot space which has entered into pot is still outside the pot. The space which has entered means enter is only from our standpoint, it doesn't enter. The space which appears to be within the pot, let us say like that. That part, that small space which appears to be within the pot, that small space which appears to be within the pot doesn't move. First thing is it doesn't enter because that space is same as the all-pervasive space. No separation, no distinction, no division between the pot space and total space can be made. There is no division. No division exists. You can see the space is one and unbroken. One and it is totally one and unbroken throughout. Throughout it is the same space. When you bring the pot, it looks that there is a division of pot space and remaining space. This division is in your mind, not actually in the space. The space doesn't become separate from the pot space because it is one, indivisible, one space. So it is the pot that is moving from one point to another point. It is the pot that is moving. You think that the pot space is moving. Pot space doesn't move. See, you watch, pot space doesn't move. It is the pot that moves within the space. It is the pot that moves within the space. Space remains just stationary, no movement, motionless. The space remains motionless because motion or movement is possible on the part of a limited object, a form existing in space. Something limited having a form existing at one point of space moves from one point to the another point. If suppose the pen is here, from here you can move to another place. From here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, you can move from one point to another point. Or the hand, you can move from another point to another point. Then how do you move the space? Anything can go to another place if it is not already there. I am here, not elsewhere. Therefore, I can move to another place. But space is all pervasive. How can it move? That means a nirakara, formless and all pervasive, has no movement on its part. Atma Chaitanyam, to being formless and all pervasive, doesn't have a movement. Atma Chaitanyam doesn't have any movement. Does it move? See, when the gold transforms into ornament, is there any movement on the part of the gold? Does gold move and change into another? No movement, because gold remains gold. Movement in the sense, does gold change to something non-gold? When gold takes, when you make a gold when what you say, goldsmith makes an ornament out of the gold, does he make any changes in the gold? Changes in the sense, does he modify the gold into something else? Does he modify the gold into something non-gold? Gold remains gold. Then what is he making? Is only appearance, he is only reshaping an appearance, that's all. He is creating an appearance, he is not changing the gold. Okay? In another appearance, that means your angle of looking is changing, your way of looking is changing, that's all. Gold remains gold, gold doesn't change. Similarly, Atma remains Atma. Because the change is not on the part of Atma. Atma means consciousness. See, you are looking at a pen, you are aware of pen. Let us take this example. You are aware of pen. Next, when you are aware of table. Next, you are aware of wall. Next, you are aware of a tree. Now, the four things have changed. Does awareness change? Is there any modification? Is there any modification on the part of consciousness? Consciousness doesn't change, because consciousness is just consciousness. So, the objects that are illumined may change, but consciousness doesn't change because it is same. Similarly, there is no movement on the part of Atma before the body is identified, assumed, imposed. Before the body, Deha, is imposed upon the Atma, there is no movement. All movements appear only through the body, through the imposition of the body. Through the imposition of the body alone, any activity upon the Atma. That means all Kriya, all Vikara in the Atma is only imposed. Atma doesn't have any change without the body, independent of the body. But when the body itself is imposed, the Vikara or the changes or the movements appearing in the Atman are due to the body, not due to the Atma. They are due to the body, not due to the Atma. So the body is imposed upon the Atma, therefore the bodily functions appear to be in the Atma, but Atma itself is unaffected. Like the reflecting object, reflected thing has some color, and the mirror also looks having color. But the reflection, whatever the colors, forms, movements of the reflections, don't touch the mirror. Suppose there is a hand like this moving, shaking. In the reflecting medium, you can see that the mirror, in the mirror, you see the hand shaking, but the mirror doesn't get affected by the shaking. Mirror doesn't shake. It is the picture that shakes, reflection that shakes, but the mirror, surface of the mirror doesn't shake, because the reflection doesn't affect the surface of the mirror. See, if the reflection shakes, the mirror, surface of the mirror doesn't shake. See how beautiful is the example. So the reflection shakes, the surface of the mirror doesn't shake. Okay. Similarly, here it is the bodily movement. They are imposed upon the Atman. They only appear, but don't touch the Atma. This is what he wants to say. So Purvapakshi told, Atma, even before it starts identifying with the body and using the body, even before it uses the body, a movement is there. That means Atma uses the body. The very using is a movement on the part of the Atma before it starts using the hand. That means he says there are movements at the two levels. One is after holding the body, you use the body and then you function. Even before holding the body, there is a function on the part of the Atma even without the body. Siddhanti told, without the body, no movement on the Atma. Purvapakshi tries to say, There is functioning on the part of the Atma even before you hold the body. This is wrong. Siddhanti told, watch your anubhava. Don't jump to conclusion before you watch. Watch. In the human body it is okay, because human body has a mind, human being has a mind. Therefore the mind may move. The mind may move, mind may think, but Atma by itself is free from mind, independent of mind. Even mind is superimposed upon the Atma. Therefore, the past experience, the wish and will are not the nature of Atma. Nature of Atma is existence, consciousness, and remaining by himself complete and full. Atma on its own is complete and full. Ananda Swarupa means complete and full. Atma by its very nature consciousness. Atma by its very nature is pure existence. Therefore, to exist is not an action on the part of the Atma. To be aware of is not an action on the part of the Atma, because awareness is its nature, not an action. Awareness is knowing is not a function on the part of the Atma, it is the nature of Atma. What is the difference between function and nature? Nature, function means on and off. You start functioning and stop functioning. Start functioning, stop functioning. Function means on and off. You can switch on and switch off. That is functioning. A nature cannot be switched on and switched off. Nature is just illumination, is the nature of lamp. Lighting is the nature of lamp. So when the lamp is there, it just goes on emanating its light, giving out its light. So the giving light is not a function on the part of the Atma, it is its very nature. Okay, it is not a function, it is not an action. So Siddhanti says, even this Ichcha, Smriti, Ichcha, Prayatna are imposed upon the Atma. That means they don't belong to they don't touch the essential nature of Atma. Atma in its nature is asangaha. Okay, how he explains? Swamiji explains, Tesham adhyasa purvakatvat adhyasa nimitta ishtanishta rupa kriya phalanubhava janita samskara nibandhana hi smrityadayah. A smriti arises, a memory is a past experience. Okay, you remember the past experience. How did you get the past? How did you remember? The remembering possible because you have memories in the form of samskaras, in the form of impressions in your mind. Your previous experience gets stored in your brain as a memory, and when you recall the memory, it comes. Therefore, the samskara, first experience leaves a samskara. When the samskaras are further woken up means when you touch it, when you instigate it, when you stir it, when you stir the samskara wakes up in the form of knowledge. Okay, samskara is only a stored previous experience. A stored one, when you touch it, it wakes up into the conscious state, it wakes up into the knowledge. Therefore, the previous experience, the samskara storing in the form of an impression, and the impression gets ignited, gets stirred up. The impression gets stirred up, it wakes up in the form of conscious knowledge. Okay, all these three, experience, samskara and recalling, all these three are anatma, they are not the nature of Atma. Okay, therefore adhyasa nimitta, that means even that is adhyasta upon the Atma. The memory, recalling, the samskara, the experience, all these are imposition upon the Atma. Adhyasa nimitta ishtanishta rupa kriya phalanubhava janita samskara nibandhana hi smrityadayah. So you require a previous experience. That experience should be stored in you. and that stored experience should again wake up. All this do not belong to Atma, all of them are equally Adhyasa. This is what Siddhanti wants to say. They are also Adhyasa. Sopi Purvatana Kriya Phalanubhavaha. So that your recalling is based upon your previous experience, memory. Recalling is based upon your samskaras. Samskaras are based upon previous experience. Therefore, it is dependent. Kriya phalanubhavaha pramana vyapara mulakatvat samakshipyatyeva pramana pravritti moolam deha adhyasam. Therefore, even that anubhava, past experience, memory, recalling the will and wish, recalling the wish and will, all these are impositions upon the Atma. Atma's real nature, no memory, no carrying, no remembering past and present and future, because all this belongs to Vyavahara, not to the Atman. Therefore, sopi purvatana kriya phalanubhavaha pramana vyapara mulakatvat samakshipyatyeva pramana pravritti moolam dehadhyasam. Even this pramana means functioning of the mind. First, the mind to exist and it function, all that presupposes dehadhyasa. Okay. Ato nakutrapi swato vyaparavatvam shakya shankyam atmani. Therefore, ultimate conclusion, there is no movement on the part of the real nature of the Atman. In the Atman, no movement is possible. Okay. Tadevam asangatvat nadhyasam vina deha vyaparena atmani vyapratatvam sambhavati. Tadevam asangatvat nadhyasam vina. Therefore, Atma being asanga, it is not capable of any action, any movement. So, any movement if you see, that is only due to Adhyasa. Therefore, Adhyasa of the body upon the Atman makes us feel as if Atma is moving, Atma is acting. Therefore, tadevam asangatvat adhyasam vina. Without Adhyasa, deha vyaparena atmani vyapratatvam sambhavati. Without Adhyasa, without the movement of the body, no movement on the part of the Atman can be seen. Atma is vyapara rahita, vikara rahita iti samyage bhuktam. Therefore, concluding, we will conclude it. Therefore, what Bhashyakara told is anadhyastatma bhavena na kinchit vyapriyate. This one sentence took us, see how many days, maybe 2 months. This one sentence, anadhyastatma bhavena. In between there were some disturbances. So, anadhyastatma bhavena, without the identification with the body, without identification with the body as me, no movement can be seen in the Atman. All movements are only imposed through the body. Just as the body is imposed, all the thoughts, sankalpa, all that is also imposed upon the Atman. Atma by its real nature, nothing. No movement, no functioning, nothing. Therefore, without Adhyasa, conclusion is, without Adhyasa, no movement possible. If movement is seen, then that is an imposition. If movement is seen upon the Atma, if you feel that Atma is moving, then it is an Adhyasa. Then Atma is moving, if you feel, then that is Adhyasa already. Okay. It alam ati vistarena. Now enough it is, because I have sufficiently elaborated. How? Let us see. 1, 2 pages, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Anadhyastatma bhavena dehena kinchit vyapriyate. So many pages we have concluded. Now we will go to the 43rd point. Okay. Next Bhashyakara says, Nachaitasmin nasati. Now we have to conclude. Without all these things, Atma itself has no movement, no activity, no vyavahara. Atma itself is without vyavahara unless there is Adhyasa of the body, pramanas, mind, thinking and pramatrutvam. Okay. From the sense of I, right from the sense of I, the intellect, the mind, the sense organs, the body, time and space and the world. All these things have no existence without Adhyasa. Outside Adhyasa, they have no existence. During Adhyasa, they only appear to be there, but in fact, they don't exist apart from the Atman. This point has to be concluded, explained. So we have to make a conclusion of all these various points. Now that is also another topic, 43rd point, we will discuss in the next class. Okay, it's a big topic anyway. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om Tat Sat. So there was an internet problem, so we got delayed. That's okay. Next class we'll see. Om Shanti Shanti.